Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Today, we are trying to become outstanding members of society in our society unit today, talking about society and social relations and stuff like that. And we're talking about clown doctors who use laughter as medicine. Now, I know what a clown is, and I know what a doctor is. So are these doctors who go into the operating room and dress up like clowns to sort of help the operation go more smoothly or something like that?
Can you imagine? No, I think these guys are people who dress up and then visit hospitals and sick kids and try to get them to laugh so they feel better about their situations. It's funny to me, though, Tom, because sometimes clowns are scary. So I think this is interesting. Not all kids think clowns are funny. Some of them find them really, really frightening. But yeah, these are nice people who are volunteering. They're dressing up as clowns, and they're trying to get these kids just to feel a little bit more happiness in their lives.
Indeed. So we're talking about clown doctors today. They're using laughter as medicine. So let's get to it. Let's find out what this is all about. Let's read through the entire contents of our lesson right now, and then we will be right back. In a sterile, colorless children's ward, the weight of illness and tragedy can seem unbearable. Stress levels are high in the children as well as in their parents and the hospital staff. In addition, painful medical procedures and confusing hospital jargon can seem intimidating, and the psychological toll this takes can often worsen hospitalized children's conditions. That's why hospitals all over the world are filling up with clown doctors, performers trained to integrate the art of clowning into meeting the psychosocial needs of a young child in a frightening environment. The concept of clown doctors was introduced in 1986 by Michael Christensen, a professional clown with New York City's Big Apple Circus. The idea took off, and clown care soon spread across the U.S. and around the world. Clown doctors are much more than volunteers who dress up as clowns, though. They attend rigorous 6-month-long training programs in which they learn about performance art, medicine, and psychology. Ma Zhaoqi, the founder of Taipei's Theatre de la Sardine, has long been intrigued by clown doctors, so when she heard France's Larry Médecin was offering courses, she jumped at the chance to join. Upon returning to Taiwan, she launched the Dr. Red Nose program, which now delivers zany performances at several hospitals around Taiwan. While the clown doctors in the Dr. Red Nose program mainly perform for children, they are also trained to interact with parents dealing with heavy emotional burdens and to boost hospital staff morale. Today, clown doctor programs continue to expand. Some programs, including the Humour Foundation in Australia, have introduced clowns into elderly care facilities. These efforts, which focus more on one-on-one interactions, have already shown significantly positive results in the emotional and physical well-being of residents. Indeed, clown doctors are truly bringing new meaning to the old adage, laughter is the best medicine.
We're going to set the scene in the first sentence here. We're talking about a hospital ward. It's a sterile, colorless children's ward. If it's sterile, this word here means it's very, very clean. There are no germs there. At least they try to get it as clean as they can. Colorless means, there's not a lot of happy colors like red and bright blue. It just is kind of boring looking, maybe a beige or white wall. And a ward in a hospital is a certain section of the hospital. For example, they'll keep children together, maybe on one floor. There's a maternity ward. There are certain areas in the hospital where they group certain types of patients together. And here it says the weight of illness and tragedy can seem unbearable in this little children's ward. It's always hard to see kids who are sick. Tragedy here means some event that's caused a lot of suffering. It could be an accident, maybe a natural disaster like an earthquake or a typhoon that has killed people or hurt people. I usually see tragedy and think of people who have been hurt very seriously or even have passed away, have died. And this all can seem quite unbearable. If something's unbearable, you can't tolerate it. You can't endure it. It's just awful. We also say, I can't stand it.
Exactly. It's unbearable. You just can't stand it, as you said. And stress levels are high in the children as well as in their parents and the hospital staff. We tend to overlook the hospital staff. We kind of think of them as, I guess, robot caretakers who don't really have emotional connections to their patients, but they do. This is all stressful for everybody. If somebody's sick and they've got cancer or whatever, or they were in an accident or something. So everybody's feeling stress, pressure, etc. The children feel it, the parents do, and so do the doctors and nurses. And in addition, painful medical procedures and confusing hospital jargon can seem intimidating. So in addition, also, in addition to the above mentioned, we've got painful medical procedures. It's not always just as easy as taking some pills and you're good to go. Procedure could involve, cleaning scabs or something, or wounds or things like that can be painful, or giving them chemotherapy or whatever. Procedures, of course, are things that you go through. It's a process, basically, that involves going from point 1 to point 2, etc., etc. So this is a medical procedure. And then, of course, you've got the doctors and nurses talking to each other using language that you can't really understand. That's confusing. Confusing means it just kind of makes you not really know what's going on. You're confused. You don't know what to believe. And jargon is just a kind of language that people speak within certain professions or certain circles. Like if you talk to people who are into computers, for example, they're throwing out these terms all the time that I don't know what the heck you guys are talking about.
So different industries have different jargon, types of jargon. I know like the financial industry, they have ways of talking about things. They have words that I've never studied before. And of course, medical language is very difficult. They often talk about things that I have no idea what they're saying. Well, all of this can seem intimidating, especially to kids, right? If you're intimidated, it means you're a little bit frightened. You're kind of overawed. You don't quite know what's going on, and you're a little worried. Oh, he seems very mean, or he seems very big. So they're intimidated in the hospital there, and this psychological toll can take a turn for the worse in these children. Now, if you're talking about a psychological toll, it means these things are really weighing or suffering. The kids are suffering, especially in their minds, right? They don't know what's going on, and it makes their physical pain even worse. A toll, we usually use this word to talk about the money we pay when we're driving along a highway, and you have to pay every so often. That's a toll. But here it just means it's kind of a price that you have to pay. It's something that you actually suffer when you have to go through these things. Like if you work 16 hours a day, it takes a toll on your body. It hurts your body after a while. Well, this hurts their minds when they're in this really confusing area. They're suffering physically and mentally. And so these kids end up needing something to lift them up and to bring them out when they're hospitalized.
Exactly. Hospitalized when you're in the hospital, basically. Hey, my Uncle Chet has been hospitalized with an ulcer, for example. So it takes a toll on them. It's a big burden on them. And that's why hospitals all over the world are filling up with clown doctors. And who are clown doctors? Well, they are performers trained to integrate the art of clowning into meeting the psychosocial needs of a young child in a frightening environment. So that's basically what they do. Clown doctors, okay, they're basically performers. So I guess they're not really professional doctors. They're just clowns there who have been trained to entertain patients in hospitals. They want to integrate the art of clowning into meeting the psychosocial needs of a young child. So to integrate just means to kind of mix things together. You do two things or more at the same time, and they can become a whole as a result.
You can often use the vocabulary word incorporate. Incorporate, if you incorporate something into something else, you put them together. Here, integrate means the same thing. You're combining one thing with another. So they're using clowning and into meeting the needs of these kids, their mental needs and their social needs. You know, they're away from other kids for the most part. They might be in a room with one other kid who's sick, but it's not the same as being at school and playing on the playground with their buddies. Now, in the next paragraph, it says the concept of clown doctors was introduced back in 1986 by someone named Michael Christensen. He was a professional clown with New York City's Big Apple Circus. So that was his job. He was a professional, so he was paid for being a clown. Some of the clowns you see at parties and stuff, maybe it's a part-time gig, part-time job, or maybe they're just not professional. They're amateurs. They just do it on the side. But he was a professional clown, and he actually thought of this idea back in 1986.
And I guess there's a circus in New York City. I don't know if it still exists, but it's the Big Apple Circus. He's a clown in that circus. I'm sure like Cirque du Soleil have clowns and things like that. And the idea took off. That means it got popular. It spread. And clown care soon spread across the U.S. and around the world. Everybody caught on, hey, this is a good idea. We can have clowns in the hospital, and they can entertain those kids. And clown doctors are much more than volunteers who dress up as clowns, though. Also here it says, they attend rigorous 6-month-long training programs in which they learn about performance art, medicine, and psychology. So they don't just take clowns from circuses and say, hey, go to the hospital and entertain those kids. No, this is a serious situation. These kids are sick. It's a life or death situation. So these clowns have to attend these training programs. And we're describing these training programs as rigorous. And they are also 6 months long. Rigorous means it's exhausting, it's thorough, and it could be accurate, actually. That just basically means that they have to be there for many hours a day under intense training. It isn't just going out on an afternoon picnic.
That's right. Anybody can volunteer, right? But you have to go through the training before they'll let you actually go into the hospital to work as a clown doctor. I know when I was growing up, there were candy stripers. Girls could dress up in these cute little pink and white outfits and try to help the patients as much as they could as volunteers. If you're a volunteer, you're someone who freely offers your time to help an organization or maybe somebody else you don't expect to be paid. So they go through that training that Tom talked about, and that's when they learn about all of these things like performance art, how to be a clown. Maybe they weren't clowns before. Maybe they just retired. They were businessmen, or they were train drivers. Who knows? But they learn about medicine, and the most important thing is they learn about psychology. What to say to children. You don't want to say the wrong thing. Psychology is the study of the mind, and psychologists and psychiatrists are the doctors who work on helping people overcome mental problems.
Yes, they don't want to make the situation worse.
No.
They want to help the situation, so they need to know all these things.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out how somebody here in Taiwan brought the idea to Taiwan to help out people in hospitals here. We'll find out what that's about in just a couple of seconds, but right now we're going to take a time out and listen to our Chinese teacher.
Hello everyone, my name is Tina. 从今天一刚开始就提到呢，在这个儿童的病房当中，以这样的背景来看，第一个空格 blank one levels are high in the children。在这样的儿童病房当中会有很高程度的什么呢？我们会发现不管是小孩子压力很大，而父母跟医院的职员都有着高程度的压力。搭配文意，第一题的空格我们选择 A 选项的 stress， 也就是有压力的意思。第二个空格我们直接看后面半句提到 The psychological toll this takes can often blank to hospitalized children's conditions. 在这样的病房当中呢，它可能会造成的心理伤害会让这些住院治疗的孩子们的病况怎么样呢？这样的结果可能使得他们的病情更加的变糟变坏，所以搭配 文意。第二题我们需要一个动词放在助动词 can 的后面，所以选择 K 选项 worsen 有使更糟糕的意思。这时候我们就可以来引进 clown doctor， 也就是小丑医生。在第三个空格，我们在破折号后面开始看什么是小丑医生呢？ Performers trained to integrate the art of clowning into meeting the psychosocial needs of a young child in a and blank 3 environment。他们呢是受过训练的表演者，来满足这些年幼的孩子在这样的环境当中有一些社会心理的需求。在病房里面是一个怎么样的环境呢？第三题我们可以选择 B 选项 frightening， 也就是有害人的、吓人的意思。接着第四个空格提到 The blank 4 of clown doctors was introduced in 1986 by Michael Christensen。其实会有小丑医生这样子的什么是在1986年由这个他所引进的。我们在这里需要一个名词，可以选择 H 选项的 concept， 小丑医生的概念跟观念就是由这个小丑所引进的，所以第四题我们选择 H 选项的 concept。接着The idea blank 5 and clown care soon spread across the US and around the world。 这样子的想法怎么样？而小丑照护的观念很快的就遍及了美国跟全世界。主词 the idea 搭配动词用来修饰当时的情形，我们需要一个过去式动词，可以选择 I 选项的 took off， 这里可以解释成为观念或者产品的大受欢迎。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking today about clown doctors who use laughter as medicine. These are people who are volunteers and who go through this rigorous 6-month-long training program and learn how to do performance art, how to be a clown. They also learn a little bit about medicine, not like doctors, but, so they understand it a little better, and psychology. So they know that what they're saying to the kids is going to be helpful and not hurtful. Hopefully they help cheer those kids up who are in those children's wards.
Exactly. So let's see what's happening here in Taiwan. We've got Mao Zhaoqi. She is the founder of Taipei's Theater de la Sardine. I guess that's some kind of performance arts theater or group or troupe or whatever. And she has been intrigued by clown doctors. If you're intrigued by somebody, that means you're inspired by them. You think, hey, that's a cool idea. We should try that here in Taiwan. So when she heard France's La Rire Médecin was offering courses, I guess that's some kind of French group that does this, she jumped at the chance to join. So we have this phrase, to jump at the chance to do something. That means you immediately take that opportunity. You do not hesitate at all. You are very anxious to participate, and you've been waiting for this chance for a long time.
We don't always get these great opportunities, but here she did, and she didn't wait. She didn't sit around thinking, shall I do it? Shall I not do it? Shall I do it? No, she jumped at the chance. So you can use that to talk about things you've been longing to do, you've had a lot of interest in for years, and you finally get the chance. Don't waste that opportunity. Go for it. So when she returned to Taiwan, upon returning to Taiwan, which means after she got here, she launched what she called the Dr. Red Nose program, which is really cute. She now delivers zany performances at several hospitals around Taiwan. So she's got her own program that she's probably taken ideas from the French program and incorporated them or integrated them into her own program. And if you have a zany performance, it's a little wacky, a little crazy, a little over the top, and kind of fun. So zany also means fun, too.
That's what it means, all right. So these are zany performances and people can laugh and have a good time. And this happens at hospitals all around Taiwan. The next time you go in to have an examination or something, you might happen to cross paths with one of those clowns in their wacky, zany outfits with the big red noses.
Now, and the big shoes, the big feet,
big wacky shoes, and maybe some horns and stuff. Maybe they're juggling and doing stuff like that.
The crazy wigs, yeah.
And their wigs, and they often do those balloon sculptures too,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
they make little puppy dogs or whatever out of those big long balloons. But while the clown doctors in the Dr. Red Nose program mainly perform for children, they're also trained to interact with parents dealing with heavy emotional burdens and to boost hospital staff morale. So it's not just the kids who are suffering. Of course, they are suffering, but the parents are suffering too. They're probably filled with guilt. Oh, was I a terrible parent? Is that why my kid is sick now? What could I have done? How can I stop my child's pain? Etc., etc. So the parents are dealing with these heavy emotional burdens. Emotional means having to do with your emotions, like guilt especially.
Your feelings, yeah.
And their feelings and stuff like that. To interact just means you communicate with somebody, you talk to them, they say things to you, and you just figure out a way to help each other out and exchange ideas and make each other feel better.
That's right. And they're also trying to boost hospital staff morale. Your morale is how you feel day to day. You know, if you have a nice, good morale, everybody feels confident, they're enthusiastic. You know, they just feel good about life. You don't want to have low morale or bad morale at a hospital or at your workplace either. You want people to be happy. If you boost something, you raise it up. So to lift or raise hospital staff morale, it just helps and encourages them to deal better with their responsibilities. Not just the parents, the kids, and the hospital staff all receive a lot of help from these clown doctors. Now we're going on to the final paragraph. It says today, clown doctor programs continue to expand, so they're all around the world. So I think from that sentence, we can tell it's been very successful. And so other people are wanting to adopt it in their own hospitals or in their own cities.
They certainly are, so the program continues to get bigger, to expand, and some programs, including the Humor Foundation in Australia, have introduced clowns into elderly care facilities. So, of course, we've got kids who have problems, and they're in the hospital for various diseases. But, hey, let's not forget the elderly folks who are living in retirement homes or whatever.
Rest homes, yeah.
Rest homes, and maybe their kids just don't come to visit them as often as they should. Or the kids just don't have time or whatever. So we've got these elderly people and they're feeling guilt and lonely and stuff like that. So, you know, they're not being neglected in Australia down there. We've got the Humor Foundation there and they send clowns to these elderly care facilities. A facility is just a building or equipment that is necessary for doing something. So it could be a care facility, a retirement home, etc.
Yeah, so these efforts, which focus more on one-on-one interactions, have already shown significantly positive results in the emotional and physical well-being of residents. Your well-being is just how you feel day to day. It could be your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, and we want people to be happy. And as Tom mentioned, in these elderly care facilities like rest homes, it can be very sad. I visited a rest home here in Taiwan in Mujia, and it was sad. Some of these folks just didn't have any family to visit them.
Oh, no.
And they just wanted to talk to you. So it's kind of nice that they're thinking of the elderly as well as the kids and the parents of these kids in the hospitals. If you're a resident of something, guys, it just means you live there. You don't have to be a citizen of the country. For example, Tom and I are residents of Taiwan, but we aren't citizens here. But they are residents if they live in that residential care home.
Right. And yeah, they send clowns there, and some other organizations also send pets there. You can volunteer your pet.
Yeah.
So you can take your cat or your dog to a residential facility, and maybe that will give these people, you know, a little added boost in morale or whatever. And indeed, let's get back to clowns here. Clown doctors are truly bringing new meaning to the old adage, laughter is the best medicine. medicine. So we've got an old adage here. An adage is basically just a saying that everybody has heard of, and we use it in different situations. Laughter is the best medicine. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. The early bird catches the worm, etc., etc. Those are some old adages.
Some sayings that hopefully make your life better. Laughter is the best medicine. Right now, we're going to listen one more time to our Chinese teacher.
而在台湾呢，则是由这一位叫做马兆琪 The founder of Taipei's Theatre de la Sardine has long been blank six by clown doctors. 这位马兆琪呢，他是一个剧团的创立者，长久以来他对这种小丑医生的想法就感到怎么样？有没有看到 by 在这里加上名词，我们要用一种被动的想法。第6题我们可以选择 C 选项的Intrigued， 也就是呢被小丑医生这样的概念跟想法而感到着迷以及好奇。接着来看到第7个空格 Upon returning to Taiwan, she blank 7 the Dr. Red Nose Program。 所以一回到台湾，他就怎么样？这个红鼻子医生计划搭配主词，我们需要一个动词，他发起了红鼻子医生的计划。所以第7题我们可以选择 J 选项的 launched， 也就是有发起开始的意思。而一发起了这样子呢，当然了，对整个医院大家的情绪有了很多的帮助，不仅可以跟父母互动，还可以怎么样呢？在第8个空格后面提到 to boost hospital staff blank 8， 还可以提升这些医院职员们的什么？这里我们需要一个名词，我们可以选择 F 选项的 morale， 也就是有士气跟斗志，借着红鼻子医生来提升这些医院职员的士气。第9个空格 Today, clown doctor programs continue to blank 9. 而到了今天呢，这样子的计划持续的怎么样？后续提到了呢，推广到很多的国家跟地方。所以第9题搭配文意，可以选择 L 选项的 expand， 也就是有扩展的意思。接着我们来看到第10个空格 These efforts, which focus more on one-on-one interactions, have already shown significantly blank 10 results in the emotional and physical well-being of residents. 而这样子比较着重在1对1的互动的努力呢，当然对这些在照护中心居住者，不管是情绪或者是 physical 身体的健康上面，都展现出怎么样的一个 results。 我们可以看得出来，按照后续来讲呢， laughter is the best medicine 当然带来了很多正面积极的效果。所以第10题搭配文意，我们可以选择 G 选项 positive。OK， 以上就是今天的课文讲解，谢谢收听。
Okay, everybody, that brings us to the end of our program for today. Have a happy stay in the hospital if you have to be there, and have fun with those clowns. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.